Well, the sun's definitely out. It's warmed up a little bit. It's not too bad, but it's sort of just covered by a cloud a bit at the moment. I thought all my sheets that were sitting there were all in order, and I thought it was all... I got them numbered. I don't know if you can see the little white marks. And I thought it was all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so 5 was on the bottom, so I grabbed that first, only to find out that 1 is there, 2, 3, 4, 5 back that way. How I worked it out was where, you know, that bit of ridge capping that was missing from that beam, just running down the side of where the veranda angle, like the corner of the veranda is, the one I had to put that bit of sheet metal on and rivet it on there. The original sheet there had a mark from where the ridge capping was, and that actually trimmed, you see the mark from the ridge capping, and then that actually trimmed one side off a little bit. And I only realised that after I put the wrong sheet up. But anyway, didn't matter, and a lot of them sort of pretty much lined up anyway. Once you get it under the flash and give it a little tap forwards, the original holes on the end pretty much line up with the beam in most cases. So that's worked out reasonably well, except where I moved the battens, then they're all off a little bit there. But yeah, I squeezed like shit through that 1 foot wide gap there to put this sheet on, and yeah, I just simply wasn't going to have enough. But it's sort of all right anyway. I've got plenty of silicon, thankfully, and believe it or not, probably not quite enough screws. But anyway, I managed to, because of all the flashing shenanigans here underneath that, there's going to be a lot of rivets. So I've got one there that was sort of, was it either going to go that side and line up with that, or was it going to go and line up with the other one there? So I thought I'll put it on that side, and then I can rivet all these bits in, and then I can lean over and put all silicon on, and I did that. Put screws in, drilled holes, put rivets in, put silicon on, all squeezing through that 1 foot gap with my knee pressed against one of the rungs of the ladder, which did not sort of bode too well for my knee. I'll tell you what, when you got a ladder where you got like the flat planks that you stand on, it's a dream compared to these ones with the shitty bars, because next thing you're sort of sitting there on your foot, and your bloody foot's leaning down, you got all this gear on a vest and all that, and it's no good on your feet. You need to be able to stand on a flat piece, and I mean, sure, the ladder folds up a lot flatter, but it's no good on your feet in the long run, really. But anyway, because I'm not too far off where the ridge is, I've got to put one, just a little skinny one I've got to make up, and I'll just have to cut one with an angle grinder or whatever to fit in there. I'm going to be able to actually lay more or less in the valley gutter and lean over and put the screws in for it there, and then rivet the last bits of flashings and then silicon that as well, before I come back to this side and rivet the second screw in where it is on the second batten, and of course I can do the end. You may have noticed I haven't actually done any of the ends, because I think I'm going to be badly short on screws, and I might just have one screw in each part of where the two sheets overlap. Like all these sheets overlap, and where they overlap I might put one screw through where a sheet overlaps each other. And next time I go in, which is only in a couple of days, I'll get another pack, and then I can come along and put enough in. But I just want to do something just to, you know, just whack a few in there just to stop it from flapping in the wind or anything like that, until I get some more screws in 2 days' time for that. But I'm surprised that I ran out of screws. But I've still got a few, but I've probably only got like a dozen left, and by the time I put in, what am I going to do, 1, 2, 3, 4 at least there, and then I've got to spread the remaining 8 or so over these 6 sheets. So it's not going to be, terribly good, but just so I've, you know, get enough to stop it flapping in the wind temporarily, I should be right. And any silicon that needs to go on near the very end here or whatever, I mean, I can just stand on the ladder right near the end, and, you know, it's only overhanging a few inches, so it'll be easy to get all that. If I need to get any of that, and there's a couple little dabs, but it probably won't be doing so much. I actually done all the little dabs I was saying about up there, aside from the 2 at the very top either side of the ridge cap there. So, yeah, but later I will have to get up there, and to be quite honest, I'm going to have lunch now and probably cut a sheet after lunch to suit that. And trouble is, oh bloody sheet metal junk, where'd that just go? There's always bits of flipping random scrap metal. I think that was a lid off a tin of beans, but anyway, trouble with all this sun being so bright, it heats the roof up, and you go up there and the damn thing will be 140, 150 Fahrenheit, and of course as soon as you go to lean over or touch your hand on it, oh hell, you know, and it was damn hot enough just as I was doing a couple of these sort of thing. So it might be something where I've got to wait till the sun's sort of like past 4 o'clock and it's past the shade of the trees, or what, or you know, it sort of might be even later and starting to get dark before I go up there, because then the roof will be cool then. I could do it tomorrow, but I'll be just as good doing it tonight anyway. And we haven't been getting any dew as far as I know lately, but I mean, all the same, it skins off within 15 minutes, and even if you get dew, it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, good to see all this crap come to a close, and I'm glad at least I've got enough silicon to do all the silicon stuff anyway. So, I tell you, I'm getting shitty with this phone because I have done something here which you should be able to see, but it just turns to black. Funny really, you know, that light is pretty good. You see all the clothes hanging off the wall there, PowerPoints, you know, stuff on top of me wardrobe there, or my drawers, you know, and just fade into black again. All in the one bedroom. Anyway, I have 2 planks here that I've put on the wall, screwed in, and they have a reasonably substantial number of nails in each one. Now, I could go back to the Chinese junk shop, whatever you want to call it, and buy some more of these things, which are basically very shitty hooks on bits of wood. Or I can just get bits of wood and flaming nails myself and go for gold. What have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in the top. So yeah, what often happens is I have about 5 to 6 loads of washing. So I run all the washing machines basically twice. One of them may only go once, depending if I got 5 or 6 loads. And then when I go to hang it all up, I've got all these ones here too that all hang around the wood heater and all that. I never quite seem to have enough room to hang the whole lot up. And it's alrighty enough in the summer because you can stick them on clothes horses outside. I've got a little powder-coated crapo cheap thing. I've got a couple of others which are basically dowel stuck into, what are they, like about 2x2 posts, and all varnished, done by my grandfather. He made quite a few clothes horses up for different aunts and whatnot, and those were 2 of the ones my mum had there, or I think when they moved into, they might have been ones my nan had used as well actually. Can't remember really, but that's alright to use those out in the veranda in summer. But in the winter, you know, you want to hang up as much stuff as you can inside this warm room because, you know, this is warm, and outside sometimes, you know, there's a frost and you ain't going to dry much stuff in a frost. So often what I'll do is, basically do the washing, and as I'm getting near the end of the washing, as I go and put in my my 4th, 5th and possibly 6th load, I come in and light the wood heater and get the room warmed up, and then by the time I'm finished, the room's already starting to warm up, and then I hang everything up. And and then it all dries in here. But I've sort of been meaning to do that for a little while, just one of those little minor things, you know, just like having the little lights, solar powered night light things in the veranda, and you know, just a little modification that makes things so much easier that it only takes you, you know, a lousy bloody 5 minutes to work out. And those have been one of them, and now they're up, and I must say they're bigger than I was originally intending. Bloody black kitty. I had 2 bags of chops, and when I brought them into the house, they seemed very interested in them. Anyway, I shooed them away and had them in the shower base, and I thought I've got to put those somewhere later, because I know black kitty can get in through where the gap is between the chimney and the wall. And had a shower, didn't even think about it, went and mucked around on YouTube and stuff, and just forgot about it, went to bed. And I had the door closed to the bathroom, and somebody decided to jump through said gap between the chimney and the wall and friggin' nicked one of me bags, didn't they? Hey, little shit. It's a big pussy. So that was, yeah. There's a few more bones there in a plastic bag that they come in, and I chucked them in the bin a few minutes ago. But not really happy, because I've had one bag stolen while she had a bowl full of cat food. Hey, you had all the bloody cat food in the world, and you're stealing me meat, you bastard. Anyway, I've never seen Tabby Cat in there, but I've seen her in there quite a number of times. There's times I come out of my bedroom first thing in the morning, and I'll pick that up in a second, and walk straight in the bathroom, and she's already in the bathroom, you know, the door flipping closed and everything. So I've actually caught her in the act tearing a bag open once before, and I was lying in bed last night and I could hear all these noises. It sounded like, honestly sounded like cats clawing a bloody beach ball or something like that. You could sort of hear a bit of a, like a, how to explain it, sort of like, almost like the scratching lino or something. There's a bit of a plasticky noise to it, and sure as eggs, yeah, it was her tearing the bag open, probably to have a bit of a go herself before she grabbed hold of the bag in her mouth, carried it out past the bloomin' over the top few bricks of the hearth of the chimney, and took it outside to her kittens. Little turds. A lot of the kittens are actually inside in my bedroom, and then I sort of had a few of them disappear, and that was probably something to do with it. I believe they've learnt to use the cat flap, or at least one of them has anyway. Learnt to use the cat flap in the bedroom door, but a lot of the time they sort of, they're stuffed and they just sit there and meow and scratch the flipping door, and then I've got to get out of bed and actually open it. But I don't think this will change even when the kittens disappear, so I'm going to have to work out something. It's probably going to have to be a like a pot with a lid that I can hold down and leave it sitting in that pot, or something like that, or a little cage thing or something that I can put somewhere that she can't get to. If it has a normal lid, she'll work out how to get the bastard off. But I do remember there's ones that have got they're for use with, I've seen people that work with them before, where they basically have a pot, and there's like a, I don't know if it's the handle of the pot or something, it's like a wire thing that you can attach over the top of the pot to clamp the pot down. The Asians are right into them, and sometimes they'll have like ones where one pot will actually hook to the next pot, and you can stack like 3 pots one above each other and then hook them all together, and all the lid will stay on deliberately, so you can carry it in a car without the lid falling off. And I have seen them around, but if I see one in an op shop, which is probably unlikely, because they're usually pretty coveted sort of pots. If I see one in an op shop or on the cheap, I might blooming get it, but truth be told, I could probably just make something out of mesh with a carabiner clip, and it may just very well be an old pot with a carabiner clip or two through the side. But anyway, that's a little black kitty there. Ain't you, buddy? Ain't you tiny, hey? One of them's a female. It's probably that one. And all the rest of them are males, which is a bit strange. Looks so funny. You got a completely black cat and a yawn, and you got this bright pink tongue in amongst all this black. Alrighty, well, this is made its use by date. I noticed it was kinking up all the time, and yeah, it's a casting, isn't it? That little piece in the end here, with a few bits riveted in, or however they do it. Yeah, that piece there is supposed to be in there and stop you from coming back. Yeah, you know, I'll show you how it's fucking done when it wants to move. And effectively that goes underneath there when it wants to play ball. Like that. It usually looks a bit more like about that far up with that stuck out like that. That stops it from going back until, of course, you push that in, and that's your one that works it forwards as you pump the handle. But it's got to have that one to sort of work in conjunction to stop it from going backwards as it's pushing it forwards. But anyway, I broke my father's one. It was only a $5 banger, and gave him a contractor's one that cost around $35 several years ago, and yeah, I might have to go and steal that back, and I believe I've got another one of these which I'll probably just give to him and steal back my $35 one. I don't know, he might have only had one of those $2 crapo lemon sheet metal ones that we've also is pretty common around here, but this one, generally speaking, they're reasonably alright, until, of course, you crack the bloody thing. So it'll be going in scrap metal, but anyway, you can still sort of use it, but you just got to keep pushing the back, and it just squirts out bit by bit. But I don't generally use a nozzle when filling up all the little holes, because there's just no point, and you actually squeeze a bit out and then wipe it off with your finger, and then over the hole. And I missed one damn hole by the looks. Doesn't matter, because I'll be up there again putting more screws in. Stupidly enough, where the roof sheets end, of course, because I'm reusing the same roof sheets, or at least for half of it, they got screw holes. And I had them thumped in, and I was pretty certain the screw holes were above your end beam, and of course the bloody lot of them are about half an inch short, aren't they? Oh God, I couldn't believe it. There's a couple that line up, but the majority are half an inch short. And so here I am going around drilling all these ones that are about, well, I'm going to have to go drilling all these ones that are about, you know, half an inch in front of other ones that I'll then silicon. So it'll be like hole with silicon, and half an inch in front of it there'll be a roof screw. But of course I didn't drill that many today because I only had 4 screws left. So anyway, that is, for all intensive purposes, over. I've done the other little, that's my glove on the ground there that I threw down before I come down. Done all the ridge capping flashings. I've just been up there siliconing those. I've still got a reasonable amount left in this, which sort of surprised me. I had another tube there my father gave me that I'd obviously used years back, and like most stuff that's been sitting around for about a year or so, I mean, I had an unopened one that was the black stuff, had been sitting there for 2 or 3 years, but never even opened. They go hard inside, so that one he gave me that I'd obviously left in the cupboard over there, it was apparently mine. I cut into that, or I drilled holes into it just to see if there's any soft stuff in it, and no, there wasn't, so I cut into it to make sure with a reciprocating saw, and she's all solid, so I flung that in the bin. Anyway, but pack up a couple of tools and chuck this one in scrap metal. Just going to go up with the little vac and the broom and that one and clear the gutters out up there. I thought I'd better do that while I'm on all this because it's, hasn't heated up just yet, but that's only got about half a battery left and the other battery's flat, so it'll be good when the sun comes out. I can start charging them. In the meantime, I might as well show you what I got up to yesterday. As I was waiting for it to all cool down, not only did I do the little clothes hangy thing, got all this as well. So some of this is boxthorn and some of it's this other shit. Very hard on saw blades. So I'm going to cut that sort of longer and probably use that for the, what's his name, heated hothouse, because, I'm likely to have a pretty large firebox for all that. It's a pretty big box on this. Bit of an effort to carry this up, actually. You see the size of it compared to the kitten. It's a decent size. It's probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 inches across, I suppose. Yeah. That said, the loader, what's it needed? Solenoid isn't too great on the injector pump. So he's getting that sorted out. He's given that to a mechanic who's taken it up to some mob that rebuilds injector pumps and all that sort of crap, and he's got to put in a bit more hydraulic oil, a bit more engine oil, then try and move it out of the shed just to, give the engine a run for a few minutes, and then he's going to take the other wheel off and grease the wheel bearing. But to actually grease the wheel bearing, you've literally got to take the other wheel off. Which isn't as big a deal as pulling an axle out, but all the same, it's a decent deal. But he just wants to make sure the engine's, put new oil in the engine and give it a run for a while there, and check she's all gonna run with the new injector pump and all that, all the, fixed up injector pump in it. And then at that point, when he's greased the wheel bearing, blah, 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 we're going to try and get some of these old gangly heaps of boxthorn that were pulled out but weren't sort of put in a stack and burn them. So in the process of all that, before he's got to that, I've decided, well, I'm going to get out the bigger stuff that is actually usable for firewood, and then all the stuff that gets compacted is only fine stuff and is just going to burn quickly, and I get to use a bit of this in the wood heater in the winter. So I was running around yesterday in the warmer part of the day waiting till it was going to cool down so I could actually get on the roof and silicon stuff up, doing this, cutting this up and carrying it in. So yeah. Alrighty. Well, I had more batteries than I thought. That went pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. I think I'll do a little bit on the peak there. Great idea, put that there. That was a little flashing. Completely bloody flat, isn't it? It used to pull up, and then I sort of, there's a way you can, we used to do when we built pergolas, you get the end of roof sheets and you put this like a little dabble of silicon on the end. Like, say if you want water to flow, say if this is flat and you want water to flow, what you do is you put a little dabble on the end of silicon like that, and it acts sort of like a wick and it just keeps flowing off. And I've done that on the end of that, but sort of works, sort of doesn't. And yeah, so I'll go and give that a bit of a flick out. It's pretty easy. Flick it off down the end and give it a quick vacuum. And yeah, probably one of the few guys you know who actually vacuums my frickin' roof. But I tell you what, it works well though, you know, because you get all your crap out. You give it a good clear run. There's a little bit under here where they actually had this piece there sitting out, and I used to sit it down to about here. And I just used to leave it there, and now I've thought, stuff it, I'll put it back, because this is always a point where it all blocks up, you know, and the damn belly gutter's up fucking here or something, and here you are with all this stuff, you know, and you got like a bloody inch worth here. And when you slide this piece out, it just, you know, it bogs all leaves up and stuff. It's half the reason it's blocking up, so I thought I'll just push that piece up and I'll bloody leave it up this time. And hopefully that'll be a little bit better. No guarantees. It's just, I don't think the problem will truly go until I replace the roof, and maybe a few years off yet. Anyway, continue on. Alrighty, well, amongst all the big wood heaps that you may have seen more recently, there's a lot of stuff that's just absolutely beyond it. Some of this stuff looks beautiful. Look at that. Oh, look at that. Yeah. A lot of deception with some bits that look almost fine. That's fine for about half an inch, and then it's just rotten. And some of it's just completely bloody rotten. So I've been plucking through. There's a lot of bad stuff sort of at the very end of it. And a handful in a lot of the second-hand stuff. A lot of that's hardwood flooring and a few hardwood beams, and then it's mixed in with softwood beams that are basically stuffed. Things like that. Just like 4x2s, but a lot of this other stuff 4x4. And yeah, so instead of trying, well, you can't use it realistically. So I've been plucking it out, right on here, and when I light this will just go like a friggin' pile of cardboard, and that's the end of that. So yeah, but some stuff is just a bit like, it'll be right for a certain distance, like might be like, you know, 4/5 of it be right, and you get the last like 3 foot that's rotten. And at that point, you can sort of slide it out, and with this I've actually done it a few times, slide it out, and then you give it a kick or whatever, and you just break off the rotten piece, and then majority, you know, you might have a few more inches of rotten stuff, and then the majority of it's sort of pretty good. It'll be splitting a little bit, but it won't be completely wrong. But that'll be something that may end up getting prioritised a little bit, cut and fit into a wood stove or the heated hothouse or something like that, because it's one of these things that, like, if I don't make a go of doing something with it, by next spring it's probably going to be just shit. And yeah, so yeah, that may find its way to a mitre saw sooner rather than later. In the meantime, we've got the little solar water pump pumping into that. No going so good. It's sort of all these freaking clouds keep blocking everything all the time, and then it'll start with this thing where you watch the pipe and the water's going roon, 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 roon. If you understand electrics and electronics, you'll know what it is the volts in the panel reach the right amount. Then the motor kicks on, and because of the power draw of the motor, then the volts drop down too low, so then it turns off again. But when it turns off again, because there's no draw, all of a sudden the volts go back up, which switches it back on again. And so just as you go, so the water going up and down like that, it's no good for the pump really. Was doing that a few times, but I'm honestly thinking of getting, I've got to go through me plugs and all that, so I can use that little semi-portable blue sealed lead acid battery, and basically plug it straight into that, and just let it run off that non-stop until, you know, I've got what I want, turn it off, and then go and plug the battery back into its 40-watt solar panel that I got screwed onto the veranda end, and yeah, that'll probably be a lot more of a reliable method, because you just run them directly off battery, which you then charge up the next day. And because it's only a lousy 2.4 watt pump, it's not like the battery's going to go flat or anything like that. It's a 26 amp hour battery, so it should be pretty flaming good with that. Anyways, I've got to go and I bought up another 2 decent size big logs and 3 little boxthorn bits to that big stack I showed last night. So I've got to go and basically start cutting that up now and just piss off with all these straps and chuck them all in scrap metal. Kittens are following a sheep. Sheep just stuck its nose under the fence and had a sniff of the kitten. The kitten was, what's this thing? Trying to pull back, making sure it's not going to get eaten. Yeah, it's gone. Tabby cat's not batting an eyelid there. Yeah, cats is funny. May notice I'm minus a few. You know, all bar this one didn't have any tomatoes. Now this has got 2 tiny little tomatoes, all the rest of them, friggin' nothing. So I thought, stuff it, cut them all off. Same with some of the ones back here. They've done their dash. That one there's still there. And this one coming out of the blue bucket there. It's got one there. That's done quite well, that one actually. And so is this one. But they're just really too many in the one pot. Anyway, I've also got the other lemon-scented verbena and put it inside. I've got to put it up against a window, work something out. Something to stop the kittens destroying it. May temporarily go in the under the skylight sheets in there. Kittens get a stupid thing and they try and grab the bloody thing, and I mean, you're liable to snap it off. But wind got going in here before and I seriously thought that was going to snap the other lemon-scented verbena, so I've took that inside. That's in my bedroom. I'll have to work something out, hash something out tonight. As I said, I'll probably just dump it in the, what's his name, laundry, because none of the cats can get in there when I've got the door closed, and yeah, just leave it at that for at least tomorrow anyway. Well, I just finished cutting all the boxthorn. I was having a look at this one. Maybe a few little bits in there, but it's probably only 2 bits worth even getting, and then you sort of think, geez, they're borderline anyway. They're only about bloody, barely even 3 inches thick. And guess what I found here? Pulled out of the ground right out of this hole. I can't bloody believe it. The shit you find. Making a bit more sense? What's it say? MHD? MITAD? Something like that. Hard to tell. CONN. Yeah. You can see probably just about as good as I can see it. That, ladies and gents, is a pump head. Old style hand pump. You know, the old ones where they got your top's closed and you got your piece that comes up here and you got like some other bit of pivot there that comes out. Big cast iron handle and you just the pivot's about there or whatever, and that's what that is. Oh man, the shit I find. I went to pick this up, bit of barbed wire just sitting over there, and then I turned around and I looked and I thought, yeah, just see sort of this piece. And I thought, there's no way in hell that's a blooming rock. Wonders never cease.